Hi everyone, thanks so much for having me by correspondence through Google Hangouts for your TMWA digital learning that you're doing. I'm really excited that I can present, and also I'm really interested in hearing all of the ideas that you have. I'm actually located in the Pilbara of WA in a small mining town called Newman, and I've been up here for 2 years now. I'm a nearly third year out teacher, soon to be. And I'm really interested in technology, and our school is also going one-to-one with a bring your own device program. So I'm really keen to tap into everyone's knowledge in Perth by correspondence as much as I can, so that I can be the best teacher I can be as well, and also share the ideas of what we're doing up here, because there's some really good things going at our school. So what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to be sharing some ideas for how you can use Bayboard. Bayboard is a collaborative app that all the students can tap into with their iPads. So it's great for a one-to-one class, but you can also use it if you've got a small bank of iPads, like 6 to 8, and you have table groups using them with cooperative learning structures as well. So I'm going to explain about that too. I'm just going to switch now to screen share so I can show you through the app and some of its functions. So just give me 2 seconds. Still getting used to Google Hangouts on air and using everything. So I'll just flick it up. What I'm actually doing is airplaying my iPad to my MacBook so that I can share this with you. So it's a little bit of a interesting process, and hopefully, cross fingers, it will work for you. All right, here we go. So this is the app Bayboard, and it looks really simple. It is quite easy to use all the functions and everything. And often I use it for like literacy-based activities. I haven't used it for maths yet, but I will come to some ideas later of how you could use it. And I'm hoping this will present to you. There we go. So I just wanted to run through the features first. So to add a new board, you can just press the add button, really easy. And to add someone to your Meet, so this connects everyone on the same platform, so you can collaborate from different devices. So you press up on the top right hand corner and you can press start Meet. And I usually don't put my email address in, and the children don't either. And then you can invite people to your Meet. So what they would do is they'd press join Meet on their home screen, and the button where it says Meet number with all those numbers, they can either type it in, or also there's the function to find people nearby as well. So it'll pick up through the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and the kids can connect to someone close by if they just check that the number is right. So once they're all connected and everything, they can start to collaborate on this board and put different ideas on. They can draw. There's so many different things you can do with it, and I'll pop some slides up in a second of what you can do. There's features all in the top toolbar, so you can also add text. You can draw, as we said, erase, draw lines and things, and you can see it's like I'm not sure if you can see that on your screen, but it's quite a grid pattern. So you could even do some graphing and things like that on here. And it's got some very cool functions. You can also, once you're finished, screenshot it, or you can just save it as an attachment, email it and share it straight from there in different ways. So it's really quite cool and very compatible with lots of different, like Google Drive, email, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to switch off my screen share now and go through some slides of some ideas of how you could potentially use this in your classroom to start you off. I have a year 1 class, so it's been very simple, and I haven't used it hugely, but it is something that I think upper primary students would definitely benefit from a lot more, because it's so literacy based. They have to type and be able to spell correctly and things like that. So I'll just flick to my next slide, 2 seconds. So these are some Kagan structures, cooperative learning structures, from the Level 1 Kagan book, which I really highly recommend that you use in conjunction with this app. The Kagan iPad course also goes through using numbered heads together in group settings. So having 6 to 8 iPads in your classroom will work really well with that numbered heads together structure. You can also use round table consensus. the actual structure is called all record roundtable consensus, when all children record, but you could also use this if you have one device, a school device, and pass it around the group. So person number one could start, write down their idea and pass it around and contribute to like a whole class collaborative board. You could use it for jot thoughts, so that's pretty much where they're putting in their ideas. Usually in jot thoughts you'd have 2 pieces of paper, but with this you could have never-ending ideas and they could just brainstorm all different things. One really good strategy to use is to get person number one to have a particular coloured pen on the app, person number 2, person number 3 and 4, all different, so then they're accountable for their learning and for their contribution to the collaborative board. You can also use it for team projects as well, and I'm going to show you a few of these. I'm going to screen share again in a second and show you a few of them that I'm talking about so you can see an example, because some people might not have done Kagan before, so hopefully I can explain it enough for you to understand if you haven't. And also carousel feedback, and I was going to use carousel feedback for an AITSL presentation that I was conducting at my school. The presentation didn't end up happening, but I'm really excited to possibly use that if there's any other staff meetings or to get feedback from people, and even in like an upper primary class, it would be great. So some other ideas for using Bayboard, you can use it as a writing prompt. So before you're writing, getting all those words out that you think you'll need. I'm going to show you an example in a second. We went to the garden at our school and we fed the chickens and we did some gardening and everything. And while we were there, I was asking the children to give me words that they were talking about, and I was brainstorming it. And as soon as we got back to class from that garden trip, I already had my whole word wall prepped, and they all joined my Meet, and they could access that and add to it or edit it as we went along when we got back to class. So it's really cool because you can now take brainstorming and word walls anywhere with you on your iPad and then share it with the children when you get back to class, or even out in the playground or garden or wherever you might be. You can use it for brainstorming word families, maths algorithms. So in my class, Year 1, we do a lot of friends of 10, friends of 100, those kind of things. So they could even start brainstorming all the different ways to get to those numbers. In an upper primary class, it could be never ending. You could have a total that you want the kids to brainstorm math algorithms for how they could get to that total. It's up to you and your setting. And obviously, as I talked about before, staff meeting. So pretty cool ideas, but I'm sure other people have a lot more to contribute, especially in different settings. So I'm just going to stop the screen share there, and I'm going to flick back to my iPad now so I can show you examples of what they look like, because it's hard to just talk about it without giving a visual. I like to differentiate and be inclusive. So I'll just go back, and yes. So we've just started using VCOP with the Big Write program, and we did this as a whole class. And also what's really quite cool is if children spell the words correctly, I can sneakily change the writing that they've done. So when we're brainstorming words, I can just quickly flick that over so it's correct for them to use in their writing. This is an example down here. Often I really love, once people have done their assembly, if it's like a buddy class or something, we give them a bit of feedback and some compliments to make them feel good. So on this one, children, I think this was when we were first starting to use Bayboard, they had to add a photo of themselves. And I've just erased their faces for privacy purposes. They decided on some thoughts that they'd like to add for their group, and they popped it in their group speech bubble. And each group had a different colour, so they weren't all like just writing randomly and putting it over one another. So it was structured a little bit. And I found I have to do that quite a lot, because if you don't structure a position for them to put their writing and you have a whole class activity, it can get quite messy. I'll just go back and show you another one. We've used it for spelling and all sorts of things. So this was the garden visit I was discussing before. So while we were there, I was brainstorming it. It's gone a bit out of order. One thing I'll tell you in 2 seconds, is about locking the screen. But yeah, we brainstormed when we were out in the garden, got all the words ready, and then went back, and it was just great because it was less time being spent on all of that brainstorming. We were getting a lot of multitasking done by doing it out at the garden. So because it was a little bit out of place before, and sometimes in the class as a management tip, you can select everything on your screen and lock it. I've had a few issues with this sometimes, where students will delete other children's work or delete brainstorming if they want to be a little bit naughty. So it's a good strategy to lock it. But also they have accidents because they're still learning and they're still playing with the apps and things. So sometimes they might accidentally delete something. So you can just lock it as a teacher if you don't want them to interfere with that. So yeah, there's a few ideas. I hope it's helped a little bit to give you a bit of exposure to Bayboard if you hadn't seen it already. And yeah, hopefully you guys can come up with some ideas and tweet them to me if you have anything that you'd like to share, especially for early childhood. I'm always interested in listening to what you have to offer. And I also would love to tap into what you guys are presenting about, and if you can tweet about it, I'll definitely follow that. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your Teach Meet.